Hello friends, welcome to my channel SushantChessWise. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic related to calculation. We know that every player at some point struggles with a problem that he is able to solve positions very well at home when it is from the books, right? But when it is his own games, he is missing tactics every now and then. And this happens, we can say, at every level. Okay, every kind of player faces this problem till the point he is not able to evaluate the positions very accurately. Sometimes, in spite of evaluating the positions well, we tend to miss the move which would have given us a winning position. So that requires strong conviction about the position, that my position was really good and I should have maybe looked little more. So I am going to discuss various methods of evaluating the position which will help us to identify the key moments of tactics, and we can reduce our mistakes to great extent. Let's get to the position quickly. See, this was the position from the game. I am trying to take fresh examples, not from books. This is from one of my students' game. The white player here is roughly 1800, 1791 around rating. See, white has played the opening very badly and he has not castled. Okay. And here my student went with the move ng4 actually. So let's keep that position at hand with knight on g4. So what we will realize here is that the main factor of this position is white's king in the center. So this is already 18th move and you see that white has not castled. Many world champions like Mikhail Tal has clearly stated that castling has to be done within 10 to 14 moves. And here you can see already white has let that time pass by. He is not ahead in development. He played some strange moves on the queen side, thinking that it is a positional chess. The knight from d4, he took to b3, trying to get to c5, considering it as an outpost. But at what cost? He has not developed well. See, look at this very strangely placed rook on g1. Right now, also many suggest that he should have played the move h3. Okay, but after h3 to knight e5, castle, and here either nd3 check, white may sack the exchange with rook d3 here, or play, see, knight c4, knight c5, qe7, and next move you will see black breaks with a5. The black rook will try to enter near the white king. Okay, so this position is of course bad for white. In the game, the white player played f4, trying to close the position. Right now the rook is attacked and my student played e takes f3, g takes f3, trying to open the game, trying to look for some tactics. What do you think about this position? Do you think black should have some tactics over here? See, when I look through the games, what I do is, from the point of this ng4, I am observing how much black is better. If you go by the principles, what computers do, they use a typical way to measure the activity of pieces. We already know that three important factors of evaluating any position is the mutual activity of pieces, the king safety, and the material count. The weaker players only count the material. They don't consider the activity part properly, or neither they consider the king safety really well. So here what we can say, that at this point black's rook and the white rook you can see are totally in a different state. You can also see the a8 rook is much better than the a1 rook. Of course, this knight is heading to e5 and d3. Look at the white knight poorly placed on b3. So all these factors are telling me that black is at least clearly better. If you add the poor king safety over here, you would say that this position is really about to collapse. So when I looked at this position, I felt, oh my god, it's looking around minus 1.5 to 2 range. This is how computers give points, and we are so obsessed by this point system, right? But we don't know how the computer does this. If you know and if you can use, you can pinpoint places in your games where tactics will happen. You won't miss tactics. Today I will try to show you how to measure it, how the computers measure it, and how human measuring is slightly different from that of a computer. So there are books available which of course discuss about this, but I will show you from a human perspective more today. And I have used this method myself, and I have had very good games against strong players from the time when I was able to use this system. Okay. So what I felt from this point to the position we have here after GF3, black has improved a lot. First, see this relationship between the rooks, right? Poorly placed white king in the center. And this evaluation I was doing around -3, means black is plus by 3 points. And how did I arrive at it? I will try to show you. See, this queen versus queen, if you try to measure, what computer will do? If black queen is 9, how much is white queen? We can easily say, oh, white queen is also 9, it is centrally placed, right? Okay, well, the queen's activity is not much different. Let us see the rook. Rook on g5 and rook on g1. What you can say? My rook is 5 points. Is his rook worth 5? Maybe, but the move is black's and there is a threat of discovered attack. So immediately the point status, at least I will measure this as +1 for the black rook. Similarly, look at these two rooks. Here also minimum 1.5 difference, because move is mine. My rook can immediately get to e8. His rook cannot. And mainly this knight difference, which you can see, it's glaring. The knight is aiming at very important points here. And this knight is really out of play. But all this works because of the main factor that the white king is in the center, and because of all this you will see that these rooks are not connected, and which makes the situation really worse. So if you count this way, you can easily see king safety difference. If the king is really poorly placed, computers mark it to -2 or +2 range. Okay, for white we measure in +2 if his is better. If his is worse, we are giving -2 for him. Okay, so minus we are measuring for the black side. So if you see this whole position, I got to the conclusion that this is at least around -3, right? And which made me find the tactical move knight takes e3. Because of the key factor, this fork is a massive threat, and the secondary threat is this. And see, white really struggles to guard against both, and the position is winning. The knight e3 move also stops white's king to castle. That is the main problem. So what my calculation was about, if rook takes g5, then knight check, king moves, knight takes, queen h3, and black is completely winning. Rook and knight versus queen. King is poorly placed. Plus we have an extra pawn, means materially king safety and activity. All the three are in black's favor. So black is of course winning. After the move here, queen takes e3. Here too, black has just rook e8. This was the second point. That is why this king in the center has really caused the most serious damage. Now see, queen e8, king moves, rook takes, queen e5. Totally winning position once again. See, h2 is going with a check. Else we can just take c3. Else we can just play g6 and activate our pieces soon. Of course, winning for black. Now let me share my experience of always checking out with computer when I feel that my evaluation is pretty good, but let's check what the computer is saying, especially because it's a video. I thought it's worth checking and seeing what the computer tells, and how human and computer evaluation process is somewhat different. See, firstly, even if a piece is poorly placed, let's say rook on a1 is not coming out, an engine will not give it a 0 point. Always remember that it will attribute it at least 2 to 3 points to a rook. It will not give complete 0, which human can think that, oh, this rook is not coming for next two moves. It's absolutely 0. So I think from the human point of view, we should do this. Okay, here computer says this is -5 position, and he exactly gets that much material plus activity. Okay, and he chose the move. Of course, I also found when I saw -2, I immediately looked at the move knight h2, and little bit as soon as I saw, I realized that after this knight f3, it's a big fork. See, after castle knight f3, the reason for me playing ne3 was I didn't want the white king to castle, but computer saw more here after castle knight f3. See, this rook cannot be supported easily. And see, look at his evaluation, so accurate, because after move like queen f4, rook g1, queen f3, rook d1, kd1, count the material. See, rook versus knight means difference of 2 points. That is how it will measure. Count the pawns. We have 6 versus 4, means 2 points over there. So 4 points, plus he will say that your king is unsafe, mine is safe. Around 1 point for that. So see, -5. This is how the computers measure it very accurately. Of course, one big advantage that a computer has is his processing of movies so fast that it can actually mix it along with the evaluation. But as a human, since I am trying to find the move, I am trying to find the value of a position. So I will not mix the move over there mostly. I will try to evaluate the position first to get its actual value. Okay, so that is the difference. After nf3 here, if rook takes g5, then see knight d4, knight d4, and perhaps rook e8. This position is also similar. Black is really active, and you can see that soon there will be some more tactical ideas. Queen coming to h3, e3 is weak, queen side is weak, a5 break is available. So we can say this is also winning for black. Materially also he has huge advantage. So you saw computers evaluation was in this case more accurate than ours. Of course, you know modern computers are very quick and accurate. Anyways, my student played the move ne3. He missed the tactical chance here, and now the white players played the strange move king e2. Maybe he thought it's necessary to protect f3. I think maybe he was correct to some extent because his idea actually worked in the game. My main purpose of taking this example is we can use it now. See, practically, what will you do here? Do you still believe that black has chance for tactics? So treat this as an evaluating exercise plus a calculation exercise. See, when I was going through this, I still felt that nothing much has changed. In fact, white king has really become even more worse. So from -3 in knight, after the move knight e3, I started believing that this is at least around same or maybe even worse. And I immediately saw that nf3 looks very strong. The point is, after see nf3, king f3, queen check, my student also saw this line, but he rejected after the move rook g3 over here, which is what most people will do. They will leave the calculation here. That is the biggest problem. I tell everyone, never leave the calculation after opponent's move. We have to see one of our moves. So calculation has to go 3 plies, 5 plies, 7 plies, that way. Never 2, 4, 6. Means my move, opponent's move, and then again my move. And if I am not satisfied, I will go one more move for the opponent and myself, but never leave the calculation after his move. So these steps are very important. So this position is actually in fact even more winning than -3. This is around 4 or 5, because see, now there is hardly any way for white to play on. I will try to show the variations. If king f4, then see rook f5 or queen f5. Both are met on the spot. If king goes back to e2, then queen h2 check, kd3, rook takes, queen takes. See, exchange up plus c, 2 pawns up, and see, look at the poor king. So all you will see, they are all around -5 only. White is really in a very bad shape. Third line is see king f2, which is not at all different. Still check. Rook can come in middle. Rook will be taken. King comes out. If the king would have gone down, of course, see, then rook takes g1 would be mate on the spot. So kf3 forced. Now see, rook g1 wins, or we can go for mate with rook check. Here queen f4 is forced. The queen has to be given up. This is losing. If the king moves to g4, there's a typical mating pattern. Queen h5, kg3, rook check, kg2, queen h3, mate. And finally, after rook g3 also, I immediately spotted the move rook f5. See, this is the point. If my evaluation is supporting me, then I know that the position is just like a position in the book where they have already written white to play and win or black to play and win. So for having that conviction, my evaluations have to be correct and I need to practice a lot for evaluating accurately. See, after rook f5, it's game over. Wherever the king moves, queen into pawn check, king moves, queen g3. Once again, exchange of really poorly placed king, and see, this is of course winning for black. Unfortunately, in the game, my student missed the move knight f3 here. Eventually, the game ended into a queen endgame and it was drawn. But my purpose of showing you this example was this is a very common problem and everyone wants to know about it. But very few people really want to work out around it. And most people don't know how to evaluate the positions accurately, which is what made me make this lesson. I hope you have found something new from this lesson. Definitely let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time.